I've sort of come from all sorts of backgrounds, and I'm an extension officer, so I'm trying to think of some sort of neat way of actually starting, but I can't. Except that at the CMA, first joint CMA forum recently for staff, which was fantastic, held in Forbes recently, there was a really good presentation on wicked problems. And I think this is a really wicked problem. And I think maybe we've come up with a solution to a wicked problem on ground. So here we go. This is a story, lots of pics, a bit different to the last presentations. This is on ground, trying to work with what we actually do. Stemming the Tide, it's a collaborative project. And here we go. The Border Rivers Guarda CMA area, for those people who don't know, is that this is Boggabella, Tenderfield, Uralla, Bulli, and out here, Palawallawa. Okay, so what we did actually is look to, with our funding, what we could do in areas instead of spreading it across the catchment. And the area that's surrounded with the dots is the area that I've been working in, and it's called the Millie Boggy Girly Priority Subcatchment Priority Area. Okay, so the aims of this project, and we've been working in this area for 2 years, is to try and develop an east-west passage for biodiversity, to increase the extent and improve the condition, which is the formatting has changed a little bit. It's all right, you'll have to put up with that. So it's not quite as all over the place as that. Increase the awareness of ecosystem services to agricultural production, very intense agricultural production area, and to provide opportunity for landholders to participate in activities to learn. And I might say that priority area was selected because the vegetation was still 30% in those catchments, but most of it was coming from the slopes right across to the plains. A lot of it was in the slopes. So we're working in this sort of a landscape. 2 crops a year, very few opportunities to engage in landholders. Cotton and chickpeas in summer, wheat, basically all sorts of other things in winter. TSRs are very, sorry, back to that. How do you get rid of that?
Push the back key.
Right, okay. Okay, TSRs, creeks. TSRs, creeks. So the connectivity across this landscape are very much dependent on the TSRs. And they are, in these landscapes, mostly TECs, threatened ecological communities, because there's not much left. Right, this is our funding. These are our priorities our parameters that we work with. So for 2009-11, it's caring for country funding, and it's for threatened ecological communities in this area, to managing threats to them. So that's weeds and pests. The budget for this project was $98,000, which is not very much in that huge landscape, split up in this sort of way. And we also have another couple of projects as well, developing a large broad-scale direct drill project for revegetation, so it's using big planters. That's planting trees, shrubs and grasses at one time. To start with, I've been whacking on about communities for a long while, and it suddenly occurred to me, this is fantastic being in something like this. You're out in the boondocks and you actually, I was talking to somebody earlier, you actually get connected again. And you think, you're fart-assing around the edges when you're out there. When you get back here, you think you're actually doing something. So this was a first. We could see that we didn't have these extension documents. This was a first for us. We put this extension document. There are packs over here with a lot of this stuff in it. And if anybody's really interested, if you want to get in touch with me, I can put them on CDs and send it to you. First time we put these 5 threatened ecological communities that we're funded for together. And the first time we put flora and fauna lists together. So on the back of each flora list that is divided up in structural layers, we have all the fauna that's associated with it, and management activities as well. Right, now you notice these numbers at the top. So there's several steps. So I'm trying to identify the steps. Just to show you, we can pass this around. Our mapping, as everybody else's, is pretty bad. There's a big gap in our mapping. So that'll give you a bit of an idea of how important the TSRs and those links are across our landscapes. The first activity we ran was snakes and ladders in managing TECs for ecosystem health. Everybody's done snakes and ladders, and you know what it's up and down. You make one move, you go up, another one, you go down. So these were run by Dave Carr from Greening Australia, Phil Spark, who's a fauna ecologist and a fauna surveyor who's been working in the area for a long while, and Rhiannon Smith, a PhD student. Right, we looked at these for landholders and other interested people. These are mostly pictures, I won't describe these, but these are the TECs in our area. Weeping Mile that we have now been funded for. We knew the MEC project was coming up, and there was a conflict of interest in terms of how we get our funding out when we're targeting the same sorts of communities as the multiple ecological stewardship program is. So we had to work out how we were going to do that. Brigalow, semi-evergreen vine thicket, and natural grasslands.